Are you new to saddle hunting and wondering maybe what is a tether, how do you use a Prusik, what knots are used once you're up in the tree? Stay tuned to this video and I'll inform you all about it. Hey guys, welcome back to Mark of All Trades. I appreciate you tuning into the video. So today we're going to be going over some saddle hunting 101. So one of the things that I do is I'm a firefighter. So I've been to a rescue school and I've been rescue certified. So I've had a lot of experience in tying these knots. And one of the knots that's almost one of my favorites is the Prusik knot. And so as you can see here that we talked about earlier, this is the Prusik knot. And this goes onto your tether, and I'm going to show you why this is so vital to your tree saddle setup. So when we're talking about the basic fundamentals of the Prusik knot, this is basically a tension knot. So whenever you're in the tree and you're hanging off of your saddle and this is your tether, this line is so vital because it basically tightens up against itself. So whenever there's pressure or any force on it, I'm not able to move it whatsoever. Like it's not going anywhere. I'm putting a lot of force on there. But the second that you were to let up tension on it and you push it up from the bottom, I'm just going to use 2 fingers. You can easily just move it up. So like I said, it's a tension knot. So that's what's going to hold you into your saddle. And so one of the things that I like to do is, just as a quick fail-safe, is at the lower end of my tether, I tied 2 knots. So it's almost like as a safety precaution system. So if I ever were to drop any tension while in the saddle from the Prusik, it'll slide down and it'll get caught on the knot. It didn't go anywhere. So that's one of the fail-safes that you have on here. So I don't want to say it's impossible, but it makes it very hard for you to fall out of the tree as long as you're connected to the tree. So I'll go through and I'll show you how to actually make this knot. Alright, so the rope that we have here is X-Bend climbing rope, and I'll put a link in the description about where you can get this. I got about 50 feet of this on Amazon for about 20 bucks. So it was a pretty good deal. I still have a lot left over, and anytime I need it, I can use it. So this is certified climbing rope, so this will be good for you to hang off of your saddle. One of the main things you want to consider is that the rope you use for your Prusiks has to be half the diameter of what your tether is going to be, because that rope needs to grab onto the thickness of the tether. So just keep that in mind whenever you're picking out your rope. So whenever we're going to do this, you want to make sure that you cross the ropes. So once you cross it, I like to have my finger like this on the bottom rope. So then I'm going to put it across. Once I have it across, I'm going to form an X, and then the X comes through, and then you're going to feed that line through the X. So it should show something like that. So if you look closely, you can see that there's an X here, and that's how you know you did it properly. The second way you can tell that you did it right is if it slides on the line. So what I'm talking about is if it goes like this throughout. So if you can slide it and it goes, it's supposed to slide on the rope like that. So then the other thing that you can do to complete this is to flip it over. I'm left-handed, so if you're right-handed, you might want to do this backwards. And you're just going to complete the same process. So my finger's out over the rope. I'm going to come across my finger. Give myself a little bit more slack. Come across my finger, make the X, come underneath the bottom, and I'm going to feed my line through that X, just like that. So before I tighten it, I'll show you. I have the X, and then I fed my line under, and I put it through underneath the X. So all I have to do now is just pull. So you can see there that both of these knots have the X. So here's an X here, and then here's an X here. So to complete it, you just pull them together. And there you have it. So to double check, just like I said, you can slide them all the way across. There you go. That's all you need. So one of the main things you want to take a look for and just be careful is the ends of your rope right here. You don't want them all the way close to where your knot is. That's going to be a foul because if it slips up, you know, you don't want it to actually, the end of the rope to run through the knot. So just make sure you got a little bit of room here. This is definitely sufficient. Pull that tight, and there you go. So now I'll show you how to actually put this onto your tether. So you have your tether here, and you have your Prusiks that you're about to put on right here. So this is super easy. It's pretty hard to mess it up. But the only thing is you just want to wrap it around your tether all the way. And I usually do 3, but I put 4 just as an extra precaution, so whenever I tighten it down it just cinches that much better. And also I don't like a big loop at the end, and once I put this on I'll show you, but I don't like having a lot of sag once I'm sitting into my saddle, and I'll show you that once we put this on. But I'll go ahead and show you how to put this on. So here's one, I just pulled it through, pull it through itself again. Here's 2, there's 3, and we'll just do 3 just for showing you. So what you want to do is just dress this up real quick. So you want all of the lines to look good, and I'll show you what the finished product looks like. All right, looking pretty good. So this is what it's going to look like. And how you know you have this on right is you'll see a little loop coming across, and it holds all of the twist that we put in place. So you want this little bar going across. And like I said, I like to wrap it around 4 times, just because this is a lot of loop to play with, and if you loop it one more time, then it's less work with your carabiner. So I'll just loop that around one more time, and I'll show you what that looks like. Cool. So I did it 4 times, and so just another tidbit of information is that when you put your carabiner on here, you do not want to put your carabiner on the actual knot. That will lose the integrity and strength of the knot. So what I like to do is just, when I'm wrapping it around, be mindful of where their knot is so that it's always to the side. So when I clip in my carabiner, I'm only clipping directly onto the rope. So we're going to talk about my tether here real quick. This is a 100% double braid nylon rope, and it has a spliced eye at the end of it. You can see that there. And then it has a minimal stretch design for durability, so it does not stretch. And it has a working load of 950 pounds. And it's also double braided, so then that holds up great to abrasions and any kind of shock loads. I've used this throughout all of my 2019 hunting season, and it's worked out great. And I'm telling you that this is a lifesaver right here. I know a lot of people go for the ropeman 1s or the ropeman 2s, and you know, that's cool, you know, putting it up and everything else like that. But for me personally, I don't like having that rub up against my rope that's attached to the tree. That's just a personal preference. Like, by all means, if that's, you know, what you hunt with, you should definitely do that. But for me, this is a cheap option, and I know that I tied it, and I know I would trust my life to it, and it's worked out great. I was able to harvest a deer from this actual setup, and everything, like I said, worked out wonderful. My saddle's awesome. It's beyond great. So I'm sure that some of you guys have seen those lifelines that everyone has whenever they're going up into the trees and everything else like that. I know on Midwest Whitetail, they swear by them. They're almost 50 bucks if you look at them online. This is a perfect way for you to build it yourself. If you have this up in your tree just like this, and this is your tree stand up here, and all you need to do is just get a carabiner and hook into your safety harness from here. And all you got to do is just slide it up as you go up the tree. So I'm holding it up here with my arm, but you can literally just slide it up as you go. And then when you're coming down from the tree stand, you're never unhooking from the tree stand, so you're always safe. So once you climb out and you're on the stands or on the sticks, you just pull this down as you go. And you know what? If you actually accidentally miss a step and you start to fall, this doesn't move. This will catch you. So this is just a cheaper option to the life safety line that they have out there. And this will definitely catch you if you make it right and you use the right equipment. I want to talk about my carabiners next. So these are FavoFit carabiners. I got this in a 3-pack on Amazon, and they were, I think, $19.99 if I'm not mistaken. And these have a 25 kilonewton rating. So when that equivalates to pounds, it'll be 5,200 pounds, I believe. So just this little carabiner, can definitely hold all that weight. So I weigh 200 pounds, so that should be no problem for this. You definitely don't want to go cheap when you go for your carabiners. You want to make sure that you get climbing certified carabiners, because ultimately you're putting your life on the line for it. So these carabiners are made of aluminum aircraft metal, and so they're super light. They have an auto twist lock feature on here, so all you have to do is just twist it and then pull back on it. You do need 2 hands. That's the only downside to this, but you are always clipped in, and if you brush up against it, it's not gonna come back on you and unhook you from the tree. You have to physically twist it for it to come back. So I kind of like that feature, but again, you have to use 2 hands, and I know when you're in the tree, you need as much hands as you can get, So, but one of the other things is that this may be a little loud whenever you're in the deer stand. So, I'll just do a quick example right here. It's not terribly loud. If you take your time, you can definitely be stealthy about it. But these are phenomenal. I would definitely suggest these if you're in the market for some carabiners. They've done a great job so far. You can also use your Prusiks on your lineman's rope. So I keep mine in the little tether right here, in the little tether pocket. And I put a knot here on this side of the saddle, so I don't need a carabiner, and it's always onto the saddle. So I never have to worry about it falling off or coming off the tree or anything like that. So that's super nice to have. And then over here I have another Prusiks. So like I said, I have a knot on the end of it, so whenever I'm in the dark or anything like that, I'm just not paying attention, and I go to undo my rope, it doesn't fall off. That knot catches the Prusik. So that's super nice to have. I can just put my carabiner on here, and then it can go onto the other side of my saddle. So just like that. And then if I'm in the saddle, here's the tree. I can adjust this to however I want, and then I'm good to go. It's just that simple. So with my setup here, I only need 2 carabiners. I need one for my lineman's rope to get me up into the tree safely, and then before I detach from the lineman's rope, I have another one clipped onto my tether, and I'm going to go into my tether, sink into that, make sure it's safe, and then I'll take my actual lineman's rope off, and I'll be good to go. I never disconnected from the tree. I'm always connected to the tree. So that's one of the things that I can't foot stomp enough. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video of me telling you how to do a Prusiks, and hopefully you guys gained some information on this. This is one of the things that I love doing. I just first started saddle hunting last year, and I can't imagine hunting any other way now. It's definitely made my hunts a lot lighter, and you know, I enjoy going that much further into the woods. So if you guys like this video, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all the support you guys have been giving me, and I'll definitely catch you in the next video.